Hello everyone, I am Sherri and this is Me Now. I want to thank each and every one of you for sharing this journey with me, and wow, what a journey this month has been. If you've been following me on Facebook, then you are already in the loop. If not, there is a link in this week's description so you can pop on over there and follow me to get info on events as they happen. I do have a few pictures to share as I go through this most recent event that happened at the end of this month. I want to send a huge shout out and massive thank you to all the ER and cardiac unit staff at the Royal Alexandra Hospital for taking such incredible care of me for my entire stay. Every single person was so very incredible, and I appreciate you all so much for everything you did for me and for each person you care for each moment of every day. I also want to send out a massive heartfelt thank you to everyone who was following my ordeal and sending warm wishes and care my way through the entire ordeal. Thank you to my daughter Rue, who did so much to help me both in the hospital with picking up my vehicle, bringing me stuff from home, visiting me, as well as taking care of my silly, naughty pets. They did their very best to give her a hard time. Thank you to my friends and family at home, keeping me in their thoughts and hearts. Thank you to my daughter-in-law and granddaughter for sending me daily videos to cheer me up. Thank you to Morgan and Paul for sending me a lovely selection of chai teas with a steeper and spoon. I use them every day in the hospital and will continue to do so at home too. They are delicious. Thank you to my work family who sent me a beautiful bouquet to cheer me up as well. I am so very blessed to have so many incredible people in my life. Sometimes we forget how very lucky we are. Despite my health, I do feel very rich in life and love, and it is all credited to the amazing people I have in my life. So, as you may have guessed, I ended up in the hospital because of a mild heart attack and was there for 4 days while they ran a myriad of tests, some regularly throughout each day. I was immediately put on several blood thinners, and one of them was injected into my belly that left some really ugly bruising, but it actually didn't hurt getting those injections. However, the bruising themselves do hurt if I brush them even slightly. They give a sensation of a pincushion load of needles being jabbed into me. I find this so strange, as it seems to only hurt after the bruising has occurred, which actually begins to show only moments after the injection. Also, I'd like to state that I was only on that blood thinner in the hospital and am on several oral medications to keep my blood thinner now that I am home. Here is a picture of the bruising. Pants are going to definitely be tricky for a while. Currently, I'm staying in comfy pants, PJ pants. Now, these attacks weren't actually new to me, although this was the first time I went to a doctor about it. I have been having these attacks ever since I was in my early 20s, so this has caused a great deal of damage on my heart, as each time it happens, it causes an amount of damage, and 25 plus years of attacks leaves a great deal of damage indeed. Terrible note here is I also chose to drive myself to the ER, as to me this was a regular occurrence. But because I couldn't get it to stop after about 4 hours, I decided to finally go get it looked after. It took about another 2 to 3 hours for the hospital to get it under control, and a large amount of blood thinners, both injections and oral, as well as several doses of chewable aspirin to help get my chest pain somewhat under control. As I stated, I was used to these attacks, and to me, they were normal. FYI, people, just in case I'm not the only stubborn person out there, chest pains and shortness of breath are never normal. Oh, and don't drive yourself if it's happening either. Anyway, so when I was in my 20s and early 30s, this would happen 3 to 5 times a year, and I would simply lay down and shut out everything around me. Basically, I would shut down my entire body. I could hear everything around me, but I could not respond. I would focus solely on my breathing, concentrating on blocking out the pain until it would pass. Usually I could accomplish this within the hour, and then I would be fine. In my late 30s to about my mid 40s, this went up to about 6 to 8 times a year and took up to 2 hours to get under control. Recently, about the last year and a half, they have been every 3 to 4 weeks and would take like 3+ hours to get under control and seem to hurt a lot more. Plus, I would have regular shortness of breath episodes several times a day that I would manage and brush off. In the last 3 or so months, the big attacks have been happening every 10 to 14 days, and they seem to last forever. The last 2 before this one, I almost went in because it scared me enough to be crying, and that in itself makes breathing even more difficult to control. I had tried to make an appointment, but my doctor was booked and I got busy and forgot to try the following week. Then this time I decided that there was enough fooling around and I should figure out exactly what is going on. Wow, was I an idiot. Anywho, they ran an ECG on my heart immediately after signing me in and got me an ER bed in mere minutes. The ECG gave them an estimated output percentage from my heart as well as some other information. The test said that my heart was pumping oxygenated blood to my body at only approximately 25%. They started giving me all the medications and injections and wasted no time whatsoever. They brought the x-ray tech and machine to me in the ER and did a chest x-ray, then they did another ECG, all while having me on a heart monitoring machine 100% of the time. They did the ECG test in regular intervals along with my vitals and got me admitted to the cardiac unit as soon as they were able to get me in bed. My daughter came and brought me some toiletries and such for my stay and picked up my truck and brought it home for me so I wouldn't get any tickets. Plus, I wasn't going to be allowed to drive home anyways. I had an IV put in and regular blood work done throughout each day I was there. Here is a picture of what the test looked like. Mine was fairly similar to this, although it looked worse when I arrived and not as terrible when I was released. The next big test I had done was called a dye test to check the health of my arteries to see if there were blockages and if I would require stents put in or not. This test was utterly horrific, and much to my horror, I had to be awake for it. What is done is best described as snaking a toilet. It's a very long needle and hose that they snake from either your groin or wrist. In my case, it was from the wrist. And they run it all the way up the main artery and into the heart. And then they release the dye that shows them if any stents are required. If they are, then they pull it back out and put it back with a stint as many times as necessary to get them all put in. Thankfully for me, my arteries were in excellent shape with no issues. Maybe I will elaborate on this procedure another week. After it is done, they have to clamp the artery at the entry. This test ruled out any damage to my arteries, which I was kind of surprised about since I really do like my salt and have always been told that salt will harden my arteries. FYI, I still have to have low sodium diet now, so that's a bummer for me. Here are a couple pictures of my clamped arm. The next major test they ran was an ultrasound. The technician was amazing and explained everything as she was going, and I was able to watch the whole thing. First thing she said when putting the wand on was, "Oh, there's your problem. Your main chamber in your heart is about twice the size as it should be." In the image, I was able to see 3 chambers, and the main chamber was indeed the size of the 2 beside it. I was not able to see the 4th chamber at all. Then, as she progressed, she was able to show me that my heart really wasn't beating. She explained that when the heart pumps out the oxygenated blood, the amount of the chamber showing with blood in it should compress to about the size of a dime. The muscle wall in my heart was barely vibrating at all, like just swooshing the blood a little. These 2 factors explained so much as to my decreased health over the years. This may even have some to do with my joint health, as my muscles can't be expected to do their job if they are not getting the oxygenated blood that they require to function properly. I feel like fixing this is going to possibly fix many issues that I have in my body. I asked for a picture of my heart, like a baby pic, but she said there was no printer hooked up for their machines, and I had left my phone in the room, so we are going to have to make do with some similar ones I found on Google. This also was able to give an accurate output of 20%, whereas a healthy heart has an output of 55 to 75%. So I guess it's just hanging out and taking up space. Apparently a lot of space, as it is now enlarged due to the enlarged chamber that is blown out. I still have to get an MRI done on my heart. This test is basically to see if the muscle is damaged or just lazy. If it's just lazy and not pumping, then medications should be able to get it working. However, if it is damaged, then I will have to have a pacemaker put in to correct the problem. I am mentally preparing myself for the worst because as I have been allowing this damage to happen for a prolonged period of time, the muscle is likely damaged. However, I used to live on salt and my arteries are amazing, so maybe I'm lucky. And my heart is just lazy and the meds will get everything up to par. Downside to this is my meds were already breaking the bank, and now I have 4 more added to the already 6 I have to take, so that really sucks. Upside is there's a lady working with me to get me some kind of coverage that should cover me until I'm 65, at which point my meds would be covered by the government anyway. So fingers crossed she is able to work some kind of miracle for me in that department. All right, So that pretty much covers the roller coaster hospital visit. I also had my appointment with my new rheumatologist over the phone, and he informed me that the large joint problem that I am having are not due to the arthritis, and said I should see my family physician for this. So I do have a follow-up appointment booked with my family physician this week, so that'll be taken care of as well. And hopefully we can go a little further in that coming up next month. Also, he let me know that because of the new blood thinners I'm on, no more anti-inflammatories like Motrin, ibuprofen, etc. Only Tylenol or steroids. So hopefully I can get the chronic pain under control, because I tell you right now, Tylenol does not work. They give it to me at the hospital and it does absolutely nothing for me. Also, I am not too thrilled about the thought of being on steroids either. There was one more thing that I need to do a little research on before going into it too deeply. But one of the nurses was checking out an area of particular pain and expressed that he had seen this before and that it was called a muscle catch. It's where the muscle refuses to relax, and the pain of always being clenched can cause extreme pain. Also, he stated that I am not allowed the pain meds to help it, as it would interfere with the heart medication that they were giving me. So I got Tylenol. I suppose I will have to talk to my family physician about this as well. Whew. Well, I think that's pretty much covers everything for this month. It was a long one with a lot of information. I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and next week is the blooper reel, so I hope you all enjoy a giggle to start off the new spring month. Thank you all so much for listening and staying tuned each week. I hope that you all have a totally fantastic weekend as always. I look forward to sharing with you again next week. I want to thank each and every one of you for sharing this journey with me. Thank you for watching, sharing, and liking my videos and posts, and helping me to share my story with the world. Remember to subscribe to me now, and like me on Facebook if you haven't already, to receive notifications to new posts as they are uploaded each week. Also, I finally got my Me Now Twitter account set up, so you can pop on over there and check it out too. I am still not so good with this technical stuff, but I put the links in the video description for you. I am Sherri on Me Now, signing off until next week.